Kelly, you've got some explaining to do. Why didn't you come to the class reunion yesterday? Do you have any idea how much I've been looking forward to seeing you all of these years? Believe me, I have an idea. I, however, have no interest in seeing you at all. In fact, considering the fact that you're an evil, backstabbing, conniving little witch, I'd rather never see your face again if I can avoid it. Why do you think I didn't come to the reunion? It was to avoid having to deal with you. Are you serious? Is that any way to talk to your best friend in the whole wide world? Best friend? You? You've got to be kidding me. You stole my boyfriend from me, June. You aren't my friend at all, much less my best friend. I promise you, June, I will never forget that for as long as I live. Oh, come on, really? You're still mad over a tiny little thing like that? Grow up! You're such a spoiled little brat, Kelly. Just like you were back in high school. Oh, I'm the spoiled brat, am I? Okay, so sure. Back in high school, I stole your boyfriend from you, but that was high school. It's been 10 years since we graduated, Kelly. I'm surprised you even remember that happening. It was all ancient history. Don't you think it's time you moved on? Let bygones be bygones? Okay, let's say for the sake of this discussion that I did forgive you for that, which I never will. That still leaves a laundry list of the other cruel things you did to me back then. I'm not gonna let you sit over there and pretend you've forgotten all about that. Huh? Wait, I did other stuff to you? Like what? You weren't content with just stealing my boyfriend in high school. You followed me around during my college years too, and every time I started talking to a guy, you would jump in between us and sleep with him. I never had a chance to have an ordinary relationship in college thanks to you. And then, after I graduated, found a job, and thought I was rid of you, I met this guy at work who I had great chemistry with, and what did you do? You went out of your way to apply to my company through a temp agency. Then, the next day, after you started working, you posted a picture on your Instagram account of you and him in bed together. I remember that now. His name was Julian, right? All I did was invite him out for a drink once, and he immediately took me back to his apartment. So, yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with you again. I told you as much back then. What makes you think I'd have changed my mind by now? I turned down the invitation to the reunion the instant I heard you were coming. Yeah, I was kind of a wild child back then, huh? Sorry. But hey, it wasn't all easy. I had some pretty rough times too. Imagine how I felt being betrayed by my own best friend. After you did that, I couldn't help but get back at you. Childish, I know, but I was in high school. What are you talking about? I never betrayed you, not even once. Oh yeah, I'm sure you think you're some kind of perfect little angel who's never done anything wrong in your life. But I will never forget what you did to me. I had a massive crush on the same boy ever since we were in daycare together. And then, once we got into high school, I finally had the courage to tell him how I felt and asked him to be my boyfriend, but he said no. And why was that? Because he had a crush on you. What? How do you think it felt to have my first love crushed by my own best friend? I went into a spiraling depression. I didn't eat anything for days. That's why I kept stealing your boyfriends away from you. That's why I took every chance to stop you from getting with the guys you liked. I had to. It was the only thing that would ease my pain. Is this some kind of joke? You're saying you did all of this out of jealousy? You were jealous that the boy you had a crush on liked me more than you, so you followed me around for the next 10 years? Yeah, and I said I was sorry. What else did you want from me? I'm older now. I'm a different person. I really regret doing all of that stuff. Well, some of it. And most importantly, drum roll please, I'm getting married! What? You are? I wanted to tell you in person at the class reunion, but you didn't come. That, and apologize properly for what I did to you when we were younger. Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I really don't care about you getting married. Huh? I appreciate you wanting to apologize, and I'm glad that you say you've changed, but none of that changes anything for me. I still don't forgive you. And honestly, I doubt I ever will. So, congratulations on your wedding, June. I hope you find happiness. I went out of my way to text you about my good news, and this is the reaction I get? Well, you might say you're not interested now, but I think that'll all change soon. Once I tell you a bit more about what I've been up to since we last met, you'll be dying to know more. Why are you talking so cryptically? Why spoil it now? I think I'll let it be a surprise. I cannot wait to see your reaction when you find out. Hey Harry, I'm sorry to bother you at work. This might seem a little sudden, but there's something really important I need to ask you about. Has there been an odd woman showing up around you lately?
No, not that I can think of. It's kind of a weird question. Can I ask what brought that on?
Well, it's a long story. There's this woman who's been practically stalking me for the last 10 years or so, and she's found me again. I just got concerned that maybe she was setting her sights on you next.
Huh? Hey, this still doesn't make any sense. What would this woman want with me?
Do you remember me telling you about an old friend of mine back in high school? She stole my boyfriend, the first boyfriend I ever had. And it wasn't just him. She put the moves on every single guy I was ever interested in for years. She texted me out of the blue just now.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that weirdo chick. I thought vindictive psycho women like her only existed in movies, but I guess they really do exist in the real world too. So that psycho messaged you today, huh? That is a bit suspicious.
It's really freaking me out, honestly. She told me she was getting married. And from the sounds of things, her fiancé is probably someone I know. She was talking really cryptically too, like she was hiding just enough of the details to make me nervous on purpose.
Ah, I see. You must have thought she'd gotten her hands on me then.
Well, you are my husband, and the only man in my life.
You don't have to worry about a thing, babe. You're the only woman in my life, and it's gonna stay that way until the very end. Plus, with work as busy as it is right now, I wouldn't even have enough free time to cheat on you.
Yeah, that is true. You've been staying over at the office lately a lot and everything. About how much longer do you think you're gonna be this busy, Harry?
I wish I knew it's gonna be like this for a while yet. One of the new recruits made the mistake of the century the other day.
Uh-oh.
He somehow managed to delete 3 months worth of data from the company's server. So now we've got to focus on getting that data all back before we can move any further. So yeah, I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch in my office for at least the next few weeks.
Wow, I'm sorry about that, Harry.
You don't have to be sorry about anything. I'm the one that should be sorry. Since I'm stuck over here, we can't work on getting ready for the wedding. We can barely even spend time together. But look on the bright side, since you know I'm holed up in my office staring at a computer screen all night, you can rest assured that I'm not sleeping with your psycho stalker.
That's not much of a bright side, but I'll take it. But just be careful, okay? Just because she hasn't contacted you yet doesn't mean that she won't. I'm probably thinking too much into it, but I just have a really bad feeling. You understand?
I totally understand, honey. I'll be sure to message you whenever I have the time. That should help to reassure you, right?
Thank you so much, Harry. Okay, well, I'll let you get back to work now. Go ahead and call me if you want a fresh cooked meal, okay? I'll bring it right over to your office. How did it make you feel when you saw my wedding invitation? Well, yeah, I was definitely surprised. I didn't actually expect you to send me an invitation. I thought I offended you too much when I told you I wasn't interested. That's not what I'm talking about, dummy. Don't tell me you didn't even open up the envelope. Okay, I won't tell you. Oh my god! You really didn't open it? Good grief. It's a wedding invitation! You don't just toss those on the counter and leave them there. I already told you I didn't want to come. Why should I bother opening it? Put me down as not attending. You're totally missing the points, Kelly. Go pick up the envelope and open it right now. And make sure you look very closely at the name of the groom. I think it might be somewhat of a familiar name to you, seeing as though it's your fiancé. My fiancé? Yep. Didn't I tell you? You must be really surprised right now. Oh, and just so you don't get any funny ideas, it's not a mere coincidence. And it's not that I just so happen to get engaged to someone who has the same first and last name as your fiancé. I'm engaged to your fiancé. Or should I say, ex-fiancé. What's going on here, June? You're engaged to my fiancé? What? It's quite simple, Kelly. A man that was briefly yours is now mine. I'm so sorry for stealing yet another man away from you, Kelly. But don't worry. This will be the last time, I swear. This is unbelievable. I'm not getting any younger, so I thought it would be a great time for me to lock in a good man for myself. But good grief, you would not believe how awful the dating scene is these days. I got tired of going to clubs and bars every night. Then, one day, I heard that you had finally snagged yourself a piece of happiness. I just couldn't let that happen. Not on my watch. So right then and there, I decided that I was going to steal your fiancé away from you and make my revenge complete. It's one thing to hit on my boyfriends, but my fiancé? That's a whole new level of wicked. Right? I was worried it was going to be a lot harder than all of the other times. But I couldn't believe how quickly he decided to just toss you aside. It was like taking candy from a baby. I had barely even met the guy, and he was already chomping at the bit to get with me. And it wasn't but a few dates after until he popped the question. Okay. No, I don't believe you. There is no way at all that my boyfriend asked you to marry him. I get what's going on here. You heard I was getting married and who I was getting married to, but your usual tactics didn't work on him. So now you're making this all up in an attempt to make me suspicious of him. Well, it's not going to work. I trust him. Believe it or not, it's the truth. And you're going to have to come to terms with it eventually, sweetie pie. I mean, you saw the invitation, right? There it is, black and white, clear as crystal. Your fiancé's name next to mine. Your fiancé proposed to me, and now he's my fiancé. He's breaking up with you to be with me. You have once again lost your man to me. I win, Kelly. You lose. Game over. Well, that certainly is a convincing story. You're missing one very important detail, however. I'm already married, and we have a child together. Huh? So, no, there is no possible way that you could be getting married to him. Not to mention, you must have heard wrong, because the name on this invitation is not my husband's name. What are you even going on about, June? Are you drunk or something? What? Hold on. This doesn't make any sense. What do you mean that's not your husband's name? I mean just what I said. That's not my husband's name. Where did you get your information from anyway? They told you I was engaged, not married? We've been married for a while now. Plus, like I said, we already have a child together who's almost a year old now. You have a kid? I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, we kind of did what they used to call a shotgun wedding. I found out I was pregnant one day, so we went and eloped the very same day. The baby was born healthy and strong, and we're currently living together, just as happy as can be. No! That can't be true! It can't be! It's impossible! That is completely different from what I was told about you! I heard that you were still just engaged! I didn't know that you were married! Or had a kid! I have no idea what sort of nonsense you heard about me, but if the rest of it is as accurate as that, then I can assure you it is all completely wrong. I'm not engaged to be married. I am married. I don't have a fiancé. I have a husband and a child. Also, the name on the invitation you sent me doesn't get my husband's first or last name correct, so you're 0 for 3. This can't be happening! I'm so confused! You mean my fiancé isn't your boyfriend? But that doesn't make any sense. I got my information from a very reliable source. Yeah? Then let's hear it, June. Where in the world did you get this, incorrect by the way, information about me and my husband? Who told you that I was engaged to whoever this guy is? Who is your very reliable source? You're my source, Kelly. You are. I got all this information firsthand straight from you. So there's no possible way I could be wrong about any of this. I went to your house, in person. What the? You went to my house? Are you serious? Yeah, and I saw your fiancé walking out of your house. He got into his car and drove off, but I managed to follow him all the way back to the place where he works. So I know for a fact that I'm right. My fiancé is your boyfriend. He has to be. I'm 100% sure of it. Wait a minute. You're saying you saw a guy with the same name going out of my house, but that's... Oh, wait a second. Now that I think about it, I may have actually seen this name somewhere before. You have? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Where do I know him from? I got it. I remember now. That's the name of one of the new recruits at my husband's company. Wait, what? Yep, I'm 100% sure of it. That's definitely who this is. My husband talks about this guy to me all the time. Apparently, this guy is an absolute disaster area. He keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake that costs the company tons of time and money. And my husband is unfortunate enough to be the guy that always has to be there to clean up the messes that he makes. It's thanks to your fiancé that my husband's been practically living at his office for the last month. Since he'd only been causing more catastrophic damage if he were around the office doing his actual job, my husband sends him to our house to pick up clean clothes, meals, and that sort of thing. At least he seems to be self-conscious of his incompetence. The other day, he came by to pick up dinner for my husband, and he said, I guess if it doesn't work out for me at this company, I can always try being the Uber Eats driver. You have got to be kidding me! I bet it was at a time like that when you saw him coming out of my house, June. About a month or so ago, he was coming by the house just about every night to get something or another. So, you mean I did get the wrong guy? He's really not your fiancé? I've been operating under the assumption that he was for all this time. That's the only reason I worked so hard to get him interested in me. I thought I was stealing him away from you. And good grief. Am I glad you screwed that up so badly? I've been terrified ever since you started texting me a month ago that you were gonna steal yet another important person away from me. This sucks so hard! Come on! I can't believe this! How could I mess up so badly? I thought for sure I was going to see you have a complete emotional breakdown. I thought I was gonna break you so hard you'd be thrown into a mental asylum. But now I found out I got the wrong guy? God damn it! And the worst part is, we already got married. We eloped at the county courthouse just the other day. What? You already got married to him? This is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. You got married to a guy under completely false pretenses. This is the worst! I'm so pissed off right now. I waited years for this moment, and now it's ruined. Hey, getting mad at me isn't going to solve anything. And hey, it's not all bad, is it? So what, you got the wrong guy? You still got a guy, didn't you? You got married. Congratulations, June. For 10 years, you've been living with a broken heart from your first love turning you down. But now, you've got a man who's promising to love you forever. I can't do that! Think about it. You might have been under the wrong impression, but he still chose you. He loves you for who you are. You should be thrilled. I'd say the best thing for you to do would be to turn over a new leaf and live out the rest of your days as his loving wife. I don't need or want any advice from you, Kelly, so you can skip the stupid lectures. But as much as I hate to admit it, you kind of have a point. It really does suck that he wasn't your fiancé, and that is a major buzzkill. But he still works at the same company as your husband does, and that's one of the most powerful IT firms in the state. I guess I can just be satisfied in the fact that I landed myself a man with job security and a rapidly growing industry. Huh? Maybe this arrangement won't be so bad after all. The one thing that really kills me is the fact that my husband is your husband's subordinate. But I think I can manage to live with that now. With a high-value woman like me at his side, I think I can give him the push he needs to be better and further his career. Who knows? Maybe if I push him hard enough, he'll be your husband's boss someday. That's it. That's going to be my new motivation in life. I still have a shot to get my revenge on you, Kelly, and this time I won't mess it up. June, your husband doesn't work for the company anymore. He resigned. Uh-oh. Does that mean that your fiancé withheld a really important piece of information for when you got married? He resigned? It's like I was telling you earlier, June. Your husband was making a ton of mistakes. And not just minor ones. Big mistakes. The kind of mistakes that affect a company's bottom line. That's what made my husband turn his office into an Airbnb. What's worse is that your husband recently made his biggest mistake yet, like the mother of all mistakes. As patient as my husband is, this one was just too much for him to handle. In one final act of mercy, my husband encouraged your husband to resign from the company immediately, rather than wait until the end of the tribunal that would inevitably result in him getting fired for cause. No, I don't believe it. He never told me about any of that. He lied to me? Sounds like you and your husband need to sit down and have a little heart-to-heart talk then. Now, you both have something important to confess to each other. You dated him under the assumption that you were stealing him from me, and he married you while hiding the fact that he quit his job. I'm sure the two of you can find some way to come to an understanding. And with that, I'll be taking my leave for the night. Remember, I will not be attending your wedding, so please don't prepare a seat at the reception for me. Well, this is just great. You were right. He really did quit his job. How could he lie to me like that? What a scumbag! Oh, but he said he was keeping it a secret so that I wouldn't worry about him. Ha! Yeah, right. What a loser! I understand how it feels, honestly. If I were just about to get married, I wouldn't want my fiancé to know that I had quit my job either. Stop trying to console me. It's not helping. Not only did I fail at stealing your fiancé from you, I didn't even get the consolation prize of getting married to a guy working for a decent company. He resigned 2 weeks before our wedding, too. Who does that? Don't worry, June. Everything's gonna be fine. If he had the kind of resume that would get him into my husband's company, I'm sure he'll be able to find a good job elsewhere. You just need to be patient with him. Give him some time. Oh yeah, right. I'll wait for him to get another job, just for him to lose it again. Huh? What do you mean, June? It turns out he's been working his butt off in secret to find a new job before I realized what was going on. He actually managed to land a new job after just a week of job hunting, so everything's fine, right? Wrong. He made so many mistakes in his first 3 days on the job that they fired him already. 3 days? How do you mess up so bad that they don't even want to give you a whole week? Yikes. That's really too bad, June. Harry had always told me that your husband was a disaster waiting to happen, but that's insane. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone getting fired that quickly. It's a big waste of time and money for the company, too. In most cases, they just keep you on until they got a replacement for you. It's like he's trying to make all those mistakes. Oh, and another thing, he also happens to have the worst luck in the world. He left confidential company documents on the bus on his way to work. He realized it right away though, and when he got back on the bus to get his bag, someone already stole it. Oof, that's gotta hurt. Then the next day, he borrowed a company car to go visit a client. He stopped by a convenience store on the way back to get a snack, and guess what happened while he was inside? Someone smashed all his windows and stole his bag, which contained confidential company documents again. His company fired him on the spot as soon as he got back. They're even demanding that he pay for the cost of the repairing of the car's windows. Holy cow, I'm starting to feel bad for the poor guy. This is awful luck. I thought I was gonna be on the fast track to the sweet life with him. I had resigned myself to being married to him and thought I would just have to try and make the best of it. I even came up with a brand new way of getting my revenge against you. But now, what am I gonna do? Why did I have to go and marry the wrong guy? Why couldn't it have been your husband coming out of your house that day? I wouldn't have cared. I still would have tried to steal him from you. I probably would have made it feel even better. Oh, yeah. I have no doubt that you'd have no qualms with trying to start an affair with a married father. So, I guess this can only mean that your current situation is divine punishment for being such an evil person. I'm not evil! You are, but don't let that hold you back. After all, your husband needs the loving support of his wife to propel his career forward. If you can do that, I'm sure you'll still find happiness in life. Screw that! How am I supposed to be happy living with a guy who makes mistakes as often as he breathes? You'll have to come up with an answer to that for yourself. Oops, my kid's crying. Gotta go. Enjoy your newlywed life with your darling husband, June. June's husband got right back to looking for a new job, and he found another one in short order, from which he was then fired in short order. As a result, June was left with no choice but to become the family's breadwinner herself. And her husband decided to give up working altogether and become a full-time housewife, or house husband. Is that a thing? In any case, it's definitely not a thing for him. He burns the food when he cooks, burns the shirts when he's ironing them, and burns through their limited finances with his awful spending habits. So, yeah, They're having quite the eventful newlywed life. It seems like June must be pretty busy because she hasn't sent me a single message ever since. I heard that she's too busy to make next year's class reunion, so it looks like I'll be able to go to this one this time.